Hey, good evening. It is Tuesday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. This is a meeting of the Marina Advisory Committee. And the first item on the agenda is announcements, open session, and public comments. Does anybody have anything?
Well, I finally figured out the date for the Wellfleet Rowing Rendezvous next September, which will be hopefully the 17th. I have to go to the selectmen and get permission to use Mayo Beach, but hopefully it'll be the 17th of September and we'll have good weather like we often do.
Thank you, Walter. Martha, you're on?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Good evening. Will is on. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the minutes from February 9th. We'll take a few minutes in case anybody has to review them. Flip, are you on?
But he's just getting here.
Hi, Flip, are you on?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. We are just reviewing the minutes now. Sam will not be with us tonight.
My video's not working. Oh, well.
Okay, would someone like to, are there any additions or amendments to the minutes?
The only amendment would be the date of the next meeting.
Yes.
So today's what, the 22nd?
Yes.
Other than that, I make a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting that were presented on February 9th, 2022.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Walter. Roll call, Walter.
Aye.
Dave, your vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Flip.
Aye. Sorry, my visual's not working for some reason. So can you hear me okay though?
Yes.
Okay.
Ed?
Aye.
Okay. Kevin?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
I think Martha didn't vote.
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
My screen isn't wide enough. Martha is an aye. Thank you. Okay. The next item is the Harbormaster Report. Will, you want to fill us in? Will, you on?
It's muted. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm right here. Sorry, I'm in between two meetings. So the biggest news of the day would be our new town administrator that was hired. The select board chose today. Richard Waldo from Provincetown. He was or is still probably handing in his resignation, hopefully. For the job, he was the DPW director in Provincetown, and they selected him today. That'd be the biggest news in town. As far as us down at the harbor, we are getting all the docks in. We started that. Outboard section's done, bow tie is done and in. And A section is in today as well. So we have those 3 sections in the water today, and then we'll fit them all and get the electric and the, you know, any little things that need to be done to them, put them, knock them out. The slip fees were held up a little bit by some confusion with all the with the financial department of the town. We'll put it that way. But we've worked that out over the past several weeks, and now we can go on collecting our slip fees and mooring fees for the year, which is good. We can send them all out by the end of the week and start collecting some dough, which is good. We really need that. And just getting prepared for the season. We did just get, speaking of the season, we just got a comment in, comment/concern in for this year, and it was about the mooring by outboard section. On the backside of outboard section, if you know, there's like 2 motorboats there, and one of them is if the wind blows in the right direction, it's very, very close to the outboard docks. So the email was asking us to, if we could move that further away. I know it's been a cause of concern, talking with a few people about in that section after we got that email. And they said, yeah, you know, when that wind blows a certain way, it's really hard to get by it and navigate. It's only like a boat width between the dock and the motor of the boat. So, you know, if it's coming kind of from the east, northeast. So, you know, we'll just work with that and get that moved out of the way a little bit. And that shouldn't be.
What section is that in, Will?
That's a mooring over in by the outboard section.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just drag that one over a little bit and see if we can't, you know, move it, because there'll be a different kind of shelf there this year too with the dredging. So you know, we'll have to see how the boat sits and everything too, where it's going to kind of lie. So we'll figure out some way to work that and give it a bigger gap between everything. But otherwise, getting the slip fees out, and now that we've handled some of the financials, looking getting that process over with, and working towards town meeting, which you know, we're still facing the 2.5 override, so we'll have to see what happens with that. And unfortunately, it's going to be a pretty big town meeting, but you know, we're getting there, and all the docks are getting put up, so spring is here.
Well, can we have an update on the fuel dock installation? Is your target date of May 1st still on?
Nope, the fuel dock came in approximately $200,000+ over the estimated cost. So we have to get more money for that.
That'll be before the town meeting?
No, the only way to really get money would be at a town meeting. So if that's the way so chosen by the town, then that's the only way forward to appropriate that kind of money.
So
It'll be hard this year.
Exactly.
Will, are you gonna be doing, when you send out the slip fees schedule and fee collection, are you gonna do 100% since it's later in the season than in the past? Usually it's been out earlier, and you know, usually people pay half up front, like in March, and then they pay when they put in. Or so are you going to change that, or is it going to stay the same? Or
yeah, last year we changed the 50/50 and made it 100% with the increase in fees, and then this year we're just going to do the same thing, 100% due by May 1st.
okay.
Well, can you email us the engineering drawings for the new fuel tanks? cetera, so we can get a look at them?
Yeah, I'll check to see if they're still on the town website, but they're probably taken down after the bid was over. So, yeah, we can get them to everyone again.
Yeah, just send them to me and I can disseminate them to everybody. It might be easy. Okay, any questions on that?
Yeah, have you been building any new floats?
Not yet. Repairing the old ones first. Repairing
Will
the
there
old
be
ones.
new D&E docks, Will?
I'm not sure if we'll get them all done, but we'll get as many as we can done.
Now, did you get the lumber from Home Depot or wherever yet?
That was put on hold with everything else currently.
Oh,
Why they settled out the accounting issues, and I
Oh.
think we got them all clear as well. So now they can sign the purchase order for them.
okay.
It's been a little hard to do regular business.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Any other marina concerns, any other issues that anybody wants to raise? Okay, dredging, my information is the effort is continuing to secure the permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. The application is being worked on for the $2.5 million grant. The application has to be in, I think it's April 15th or 17th. Will, do you have anything to add to that?
You know, that we're just still in the negotiations for the permit are contingent on mitigation. And obviously we don't have or want to pay the money for the mitigation. So some of the contingent things are like the articles at town meeting, the land swap. I don't know. I don't even know if it's a swap really. Putting the conservation land into conservation trust. So some of the mitigation credits are gonna rest on that. So getting those two articles approved are gonna be pretty important for our mitigation factors. It's been a long, slow, arduous process, but you know, our lobbyist has done a lot to work behind the scenes with, you know, Keating and Markey's office and Sarah Peak and stuff to you know, really push this along. So we got some more stuff hinging on this infamous town meeting coming up.
Okay, the next item is Marina Parking. At your request, I made up the diagram based on what was agreed upon last time. And then sent out a sheet of the breakdown. Who would like to begin that discussion?
Joe, I only got one of the diagrams that you sent.
I only sent one,
Oh, I see. Okay,
sent it yesterday.
okay. Why only one?
Well, the one diagram that was agreed to be sent was the final breakdown of what was agreed upon for spaces last time. And last time, the committee proposed that the trailer spots remain as they are. And then the other allocations, if you look at the diagram, and with those allocations, the 70% of the total spaces would be for boaters and 30% would remain for public parking.
Okay, just in that diagram though, I didn't see the outer spaces that we talked about over by the Picard's area. And if we had included that or the double, I don't know, it was just didn't seem, I don't know, I didn't know we had made a final decision on exactly what we were trying to allocate.
Well, we didn't make a final decision.
Okay.
However, we moved to a position with further discussion wanted and planned. And
Okay.
this is simply the decision, the proposal that people wanted at the end of that meeting. So it's now open to discussion. If you look at the bottom of the diagram, Flip, you can see the live parking and the parking by the fuel dock and by the booth.
I didn't see that for some reason.
Yeah, it's way down on the bottom.
You may have to scroll.
Only one I got. Can I make a comment?
Sure.
With regards to opening up the trailer section in the middle for 72 spots for boaters,
Mhm.
that's not going to work unless we change the angle of the trailers, because then it'll be a cluster otherwise. I think Will knows what I'm talking about. When you come around there, you want to be on the right side of your shoulder when you're pulling into a trailer spot. And it's a challenging feat just for anybody that can drive one, but those that are challenged a little bit on that, it would be a nightmare. So I think as far as the two trailer sections there, 29, 29, we got to remember that those sections need the angles need to change to the opposite way.
Yes. Yes, you had mentioned that last time. So the 58, where the trailers are now, would have to be angled, I think you said last time, to the left.
I think they're angled to the left now. They have to go the other way.
Yeah, that was definitely discussed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Otherwise, that's really not going to work.
yeah. Other comments, anybody?
Now we can only suggest this to the selectmen, is this correct? And we have not done that so far.
Right,
So we have to present them with this idea and then see what happens, basically.
yeah. Will, do you have any comments?
I think where are these where it says boaters, the 23, 24, 2020, does that include like that 23, 24 area if we went out a few more spots? 'Cause I think there's plenty of room towards like the beach sticker office to add spots there.
Yeah, this is just a diagram of what presently exists right now.
Joe,
Yeah, Kevin.
in regards to Will's comment, there has to be a definite line on the road. There is no line on that road. It's a public road in front of Max. It's a public road in that area. There's no rhyme or reason to where the road begins and the parking lot ends or begins. So that would be a starting off point to where Will's suggestion is that we could probably add some parking spaces out a little bit. But again, there's no mark or anything denoting it as it is a public way.
Yeah, the whole parking lot needs to be relined, basically.
Yeah, it needs to be
Yeah.
designed.
And Kevin, I
Yeah.
think they're probably going to say that it has to be 2 lanes where you're talking about. One coming, one going.
Well, yeah, it ends up and it just progressively gets worse with the amount of people that are here. It happened last year with you know, the line at the restaurant going out in the middle of the road.
Yeah,
People are trying to work it and it's there's just no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, there needs to be a sign or something saying this is a public road right away, because like you said, people are walking, or eating their ice cream right there. They don't know. That's
maybe
the
if
trouble.
they,
They don't know.
maybe if they lined it. Like the
That's
rest
what
of
I'm
the
talking
road.
about, making it a road.
Line it
Yeah.
like a road, yeah.
Yeah,
They put fog lines on each side or something, you know, I don't know. You know, just a demarcated.
Dotted line down the middle.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, two white lines along each side, and a line down the middle, like a
Right.
road.
Yeah,
It hasn't been done for years.
some sort of shape, and then maybe the words stop at those white lines onto the street,
Yes, that's a good idea. I
because
like that.
nobody does.
No, they don't. That's a very good idea. There should be a designated stop line there at all the entrance exits out of there.
I'm surprised we don't have more, I guess, because it's such a slow corner, but
Yeah,
I mean, from the town's point, there's probably some liability in having a lot there in a road without even clearly marked entrances and exits onto another road, you know, it's, if someone does get, God forbid, if a person gets hit, I mean, a car is one thing, but if a person there, it's, you know.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
surprised
surprised.
someone hasn't been clipped yet.
Yeah,
I know,
me too.
I know. I mean, you think about the Pearl and that little crossing area, and then the corners and it's yeah, going down to Seraldi and the bookstore, and then
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Half of them walking out of there aren't exactly on two legs either.
no,
Hey, speak for yourself.
You know, we could talk about a lot of this, but are we going to make a definite suggestion? And is this something that we're talking about having implemented for this summer? Because I mean, the time's kind of running out on us.
Well, I think the stop stuff we can implement no matter what. Putting up a little road direction. I can talk with Jay over the DPW, see if they got any mapping for that, and we can get the stop stuff done right away. That's sort of all in our wheelhouse of just do it.
What about lining the road over there in front of Max?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with trying to get the heads over at the DPW involved to see the road engineering of it.
Yeah.
See what their maps are display.
I mean, that would be a start.
Yeah. Yep.
This parking plan, Will, that we're talking about doesn't seem to be a realistic objective for before this summer though, correct? Wouldn't you say?
It's gonna be hard. Yeah.
With everything else going on, I don't know. Yeah, Martha, to your point. You know?
Yeah.
I think they're, before even considering making a proposal, I don't know that a proposal can be submitted without part of the plan stating how this would be enforced. What the plan would be to designate certain spaces. First of all, is everybody comfortable with the ratio of 70% boating, including 58 for day trailers and 30% for public?
I think you're gonna have issues with that, but that's just my opinion. And the issue is it's been
Been that way
basically
forever.
a lot of public
Yeah.
for a long time.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
as we talked last time, I think part of any proposal would be pushing one of the recommendations made by the parking task force, which is to develop off-site parking with a shuttle bus.
Yeah, it's really tied to the whole parking system for the whole town, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. I think asking what we're asking almost has to be but with a proposal of everything else in link with what we're trying to do.
Well, my
Or does
point,
it start the whole thing?
yeah, and my point earlier was, I mean, what can we do this summer without, like doing all of this other groundwork, which we definitely need to do. And probably the only things that we can do this summer is perhaps put up, like a stop sign and maybe line, part of that road. But
Well-
otherwise, the whole rest of the plan involves, quite a lot of input.
Well,
I think there's a couple of things we could do, Martha, is that we can start, educating the boaters that they need to go right when they come up the ramp and
Yeah.
not go left.
Yep.
And do that in, consistently, because once they go left, that's where they go.
Yeah.
And then they stop and they clean their boat.
And they sit there
set
and
it.
clean.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they're educated to go to the right and then line up, and then again, I give Will and his crew a lot of credit. There's been a lot of people skipping lines and stuff with, some of the locals getting frustrated and cutting the line and pulling down. That ramp is double lane, and some people aren't comfortable with it and some people are. So, I mean, we got to utilize what we have and educate them. Just like cows going into a stanchion, they got to be taught that's where you go.
Well, what do you think about putting a sign at the top of the ramp that they've got to go right?
A sign's easy. Also, I think going along with the line striping as well, with some arrows to give some actual direction to any of those that do pay attention. That would help. And we could all sort that out with adding a couple parking spots easily. I'm sure the way that's set up in that first row over by the fuel, tank area, the cars are always parked there anyway. It just seems natural. It seems like it was cut off, like they ran out of striping or something. So some stop signs, kind of spruce up what we got and add a little bit more. I think that's the easiest start. That's for sure.
So Will, would you see yourself putting that go right sign at the top of the ramp for this summer?
Yep, it can go right on the candy stripe pole.
Right only, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
let me ask a question on that. Why would you want to go right if you're leaving the pier? If you're just pulling out and leaving? I don't understand why you would go right and go all the way down and all the way around.
Because they tie down their boats when they come up the ramp.
What if you just have your trailer and you just dunked?
I say you keep the traffic all the same for everybody. I understand what you're saying, Flip, but the problem is you might be inconveniencing a few, but you're saving headaches for the many. In so many instances, there's too many boats that are parked when they go to the left and they just stay there.
Oh, they just
And
sit right in that zone. I got
And they
you.
block the traffic. So if you have everybody doing the same thing, I think it alleviates that issue
So
Okay, and how are we going to enforce this?
with the signs.
Yeah.
So you gotta have somebody there at some
Okay.
point, like
Yeah.
on a Saturday afternoon.
you can have an arrow right at the top of the ramp that just points right when you're coming up. So you
There's
don't have to
there's no better way to tell people what to do than to have someone physically there pointing, you don't go this way, that way only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think like on a Friday and Saturday afternoon, a Saturday and Sunday afternoon, I think at least at the beginning of the season to get everybody indoctrinated, you're going to have somebody there.
Well,
Makes it
Martha,
easier too.
just a quick thought on that. Now that we have dredging in the Inner Harbor, it seems like there's a good possibility that things will go back to the way they were before when we had dredging, and that is, from 3 o'clock on, with a lot of people coming in because they can go out anytime, that from 3 on every day is going to be a busy day,
Yep.
not just the weekends.
Can I ask
Flip.
a question? Will, is there? I don't want
No,
to
you can't.
Somebody loves you, Dave.
forget what my thought is, which happens often. But is there a possibility that we can take out that center trailer parking this summer without any conflict of anything and just make that car parking? I mean, no, I know the line's stuck and all that, but I know we had cones there and it was like, kind of a whole different situation. But what if we had that as car parking this summer? I mean, does that going to require any kind of Board of Selectmen meeting or anything like that? Does anybody know?
Well, Flip, on the diagram, people advocated for that at the last meeting. That's why I put in, if you look at your diagram.
I don't know. I understand all that.
72.
The question is, can we do that without having to go through any hoops in the short term?
I think the harbor master can designate anything he wants there.
I think one of the, well, Kevin has his hand up, so let's.
Kevin,
I wasn't at the last meeting and I'm totally against that center trailer parking lot because that's a great place for people to line up to wait in line. You with that center parking, you're just causing the traffic jam there.
What if cars were there? Just cars.
You got any, I would eliminate it. I just think it's a cluster, and if you're gonna be sending cars to the right, you're gonna have a line of traffic looking to park, looking to put a boat in. So that would be the lane for them to go in.
comments?
Compact cars?
I don't think you're looking for an accident down there.
Well, I mean, they've already had parking there forever and it's,
Not in the center, they haven't. Flip, that parking in the center is only about 3-4 years old.
Yeah, and if we're gonna get everybody to go to the right, we're gonna need enough space for the people to swing a car and a trailer.
And then you're gonna have a line of boats looking to pull into the ramp from there.
well, at the last meeting, we
If you
had,
look at where the
Yeah.
trailer, the 58 trailer spaces are now up against the guardrail.
Yep.
From there to the middle section is 30 feet. That would seem to be enough room for people to swing around.
Let me ask you this, Joe. You come in to launch your boat. The way I believe it was, and it still is you go down, you pay your fee at Will's, you go take your trailer, you go down and pull around and come swing back up. Now with that center parking, you're eliminating that whole line of waiting to go and put your boat in. People that come in pay their fee with Will, or they'll park their boat and run in and pay their fee. But there needs to be a line of waiting boats to go down the ramp.
Yeah, I hear you.
so
In-
where do they go?
I don't, I
And-
can't predict that, but I come back to the 30 feet and you figure if a car trailer for that line is 10 feet wide, that would seem to be enough to have a line there to launch. Others, comments?
We can't hear you, Dave.
Have you muted?
I like it that way with Dave.
I'll bet you do. Sorry about that. No, I guess my question is, I mean, what's the management that we can do as far as these lines go? Are there always big lines? I don't see them because I'm out in the morning, so I don't really see them. Sometimes I see that there are already trailers that are all parked and they're out there already. But, I guess my question is, why, I'm not sure why this is such a big issue, that spot in the middle, Kevin, I guess, that's all. We had talked about the room, and there was ample room around those 72 spaces to move people around. I don't know why anybody should be waiting other than just to get in the water, and that's fine. So they wait in a line and it goes around.
Where's that line gonna go,
It
Dave?
goes in a circle instead of it's in the middle.
Yeah, you go up by the slips and around.
Yeah.
So the people,
You go in by the slips and then around by the trailer parking.
Let them just stack up against each other until they get in, one at a time. That's how it works.
I mean, you have,
is that the way you envision this, is going by the slips and then around that way?
yeah.
Yes.
Not the other way around?
no.
Correct. The whole flow of the traffic has to change,
So it's
including
going
those angles.
clockwise.
Yeah.
Needs to go clockwise. It's now counterclockwise.
All right.
And don't forget, you can launch whenever you want now, more or less. So that
Not gonna,
hopefully,
right.
hopefully it's not going to be all jammed up at certain times. Although it is, I know people want
5
to go
o'clock
out
in the
early
afternoon.
in the afternoon. Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all seen the jams in that line in the afternoon because everybody had to come out pretty much at the same time. There's so much, limited water, but now they can come out anytime.
The jam up is 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and the same on a nice Sunday. It starts around 10. You start to get busy, and by 11 o'clock, they're everywhere. And then, like you said, they all got to come out at the same time.
Hey, Will,
And-
let me ask you something.
Yeah.
In your experience with watching these guys come and go, do you think most of these boaters are paying attention to the tide, or they just show up?
They show up at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
So they don't care. They're not even looking at tides.
Nope, and they'll hang around for an hour or two, and it's just like it's just like going to the beach. I mean, you could ask Johnny Clam's famous for saying it. Actually, it's the 11 o'clock Saturday curse. It doesn't even matter. There could be zero water. They'll show up and line up. And I mean, now that I got kids and stuff, I see why. But
Wow.
yeah, I think in the most ideal world, which we don't obviously have, if we didn't have to worry about anything, I think an actual staging area for the trailers to wait to launch would be the best thing in the world. Because some people take forever, and they want to come pay, which we're speeding up the paying process too. We're actually going to put in those QR codes where they can pay us with them too, and have that fully done on their phone. But some people just take forever, and then you get the ones that obviously can't drive well or back up down the ramp well.
The people that are in a line setting up. Again, I come back, I'm looking at the diagram, you have 30 feet there. It would just seem that line could be accommodated, one straight line for those that are waiting to launch.
30 feet long or 30 feet wide?
No. From
30 feet wide.
30 feet wide from the trailer parking area to the midsection.
Mhm.
That whole area is 30 feet wide.
Is that
Yeah.
including the parking space or at the end of the parking space?
No. When you start at the trailer spaces, not at the guardrail, but at the very beginning of the lines of the trailer spaces, okay?
It's the back of the line where they would be taking up that space is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
so it'd be
talking
tail light
about-
to tail light, if you're measuring tail light to tail light in a car.
Gotcha.
If a car was visually in those spots, tail light to tail light.
So if you start at the front of the vehicle and you go to the middle section, that's 30 feet. Pretty big area. And I think with the cars parking there at an angle in the midsection, and it could accommodate a line. What do the others think?
Or you could have the setup line in the center.
I don't think that would work well. I don't think there's enough room to turn a trailer.
No, if you get in the middle, you can't turn.
I mean, if you got a little boat, it's one thing, but some of these guys got 30-foot boats on trailers these days.
Yeah, every center console went from 21 feet to 26 real quick.
Mhm.
But and then one of the reasons why we had all the stanchions and all that garbage in the middle also is, monkey see, monkey do. You get a guy in at 5 o'clock in the morning to go fishing. He parks in the easiest spot possible, and then the rest of the day is shot.
Yep.
We really need a parking consultant.
I think even if we have a parking consultant, ultimately, I don't think we want the consultant making a recommendation on how many spaces for boaters and how many for the public.
No, not for that, for the physical layout of what we
Yeah.
want to do.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
How about if we meet some weekend morning or afternoon?
Are we allowed?
You mean at the
We're
pier?
allowed now.
Well, if it's,
Go outside and I'll bring my dog, and Dave, you can bring your dog, and
I got two of them.
we can walk in the dogs.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think we can chat about it all we want, but to actually see it and to visualize it, I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I like that. Let's do it.
I think we can do it if it's posted, but it's considered by the town as an
A meeting?
in-person meeting.
Mhm.
And I think I read something recently where they are considering in mid-April going back to in-person meetings.
I think it might stay hybrid. That's the latest update.
Yeah,
So
I saw, mid-April for the hybrid, and if that's so, then we could have a meeting there.
or we could have just a site visit.
Yeah,
Walk our dogs.
what we
Right.
could do would be to schedule the next committee meeting, in 4 weeks. But as soon as I learn that we can meet in person, I can email everybody to set up a site visit just for that issue. And
Yeah.
post it, and anybody who wants to come can come. How does
Going
that
down
sound?
there and checking it out personally is a very good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely is.
I don't think there's anything that says
Does
we
everybody
can't.
want to do that then?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. As soon as I hear we can get permission to do that, I'll send out an email and see if we can get a common time and do a site visit. That acceptable to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Great idea, Kevin.
That's it. I'm done for the month.
So you think?
One and done, huh?
Okay. Anything else on the parking issue? Okay, the last one is the Marina Management Plan. We got 3 submissions and I sent them out to everybody about what the needs are for a management plan. Who would like to begin? Does everybody agree with all of the needs that were submitted? Anybody want to make comments or elaborate on some?
Well,
of
I think one of the ones that I might have submitted a little bit too late was talking about like the bathrooms down there. And at least addressing what's there now. And it'll probably be way down the line before we get like a lot of major improvements done down there. So I think we have to work with what we have and, spruce it up and, perhaps maybe experiment with leaving them open later. I think it's a real need. And if we can get the cooperation of maybe, like some of the adjacent people that use them. I've had some experience leaving some restrooms in public, parks open at night. And, there is sometimes a small amount of vandalism, but by and large, there's really not that much. And I think the benefits, far outweigh the detractions of not having them open, because I think it's really difficult when you have a lot of people utilizing that pier and there's no bathroom facility.
I can't agree with you more, Martha, but the problem is that we get down there early in the morning and, there's a bunch of people that don't, can't hit the toilet, and that falls on the people to clean it, and that's, well, it used to be Mike, now it's Will. I'm all for I really like the Bubba's setup up there by the Shellfish Shack. They come in, they clean it, and then they take it away.
Martha, what would be your thought about opening and closing hours?
Well, I would say, at least have them open, like fairly early in the morning, like, 6, 7 o'clock, perhaps. I don't think the opening part is as bad as the closing part is sometimes. And, especially in the real height of the season. So
What
I
time
don't know.
would you recommend they be open, they be closed?
Pardon?
What time would you
I
like?
would
recommend
say,
they be closed?
like have them open, like around 6 or 7 in the morning and have them open until like 10 o'clock at night.
Will, how late does the staff work at night?
It depends on the weekday or weekend. And then we're asked to be there on Wednesday nights later too for the square dance. So 9, 10 o'clock typically, until we start running out of staff.
Is there any way to come into a kind of a cooperative venture with, some of the people that are utilizing those bathrooms? I mean, like with Pearl or Max or, especially Max. I mean, Pearl's got their own bathroom, but
Have them get a sanitary, have them get a cleaning service to come in and clean them. I like that idea.
yeah, or maybe, like do something with their staff or something.
Walter,
My question is to Will is how did it work when we had the porta potties down there now? Maybe 3 or 4 porta potties would, those don't lock up. Just you get, Bubba to clean them every morning. And you don't have to worry about, locking places up or having you got to clean the regular restrooms anyway. But if you had 2 or 3 of those out front, like we did temporarily, I think that might solve some of that problem.
It could solve some of the problem, but also, well, how much is it going to cost? I know that, we've got a portable one down at the chamber, and it's, it gets a little pricey,
Hmm.
well, now that we have dredging, we can probably anticipate more boaters staying out later, wanting to come in and needing the restrooms at 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Hey, who pays for all those portable toilets over there by the Shellfish Shack?
The beach department.
They do.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good. There you go. You just answered your question.
Well, what about the night staff people locking up when they leave? If it's going to be 9 or 10, like Will said.
Yeah, and that's dependent on the staff. Typically, I think one thing to check too is other marinas, and see what they're doing about their bathroom situations. I know we staff later than most marinas around to begin with, personnel, and just like our fuel dock and stuff is open a lot later and a lot more hours than most. That's usually the comments we get, is that they're, that, wow, you guys are still here, whether that's good or bad for them, I don't know. But look around and see what they're doing. I mean, even if they're leaving the bathrooms open all night, I mean,
Well, I know
the beaches.
staffing is, a cost, but I'm thinking with the extended hours and the heavy usage, I'm almost wondering, during the height of the summer, like perhaps the end of June until Labor Day, whether it's worth it to have somebody down there till 9 or 10 o'clock. It's not just the bathrooms, it's the use of the docks, and especially the use of the docks with like the people that are coming to pull up there and tie up there to go to Pearl and the bookstore and, Max and God, wherever else they go. I mean, I've watched some pretty unhealthy situations down there in the evening a couple times. I don't know if the rest of you have or not.
Oh, yeah.
Now, didn't you hire somebody to clean those bathrooms last year, Will?
So we had a service come and clean them, and supposed to be once a day. The beach department actually paid for it last year.
Hmm.
And that was once a morning. It was nice for us, not
Yeah.
having to clean the bathrooms for the main heat of the season. But typically what we found out is we had to do it anyway.
So,
And we had to restock them and fluff them and take out the trash and all that anyway.
yeah, they get heavy use.
Yeah, they're used way more than they're designed for. That's for
Well,
sure. So,
yeah.
and that septic gets pumped
Yeah.
quite a few many times.
Yeah, the real
Huh.
cure is to redesign that whole bathroom system, including a septic.
Yeah, it would be good. I mean, I ideally you'd want a real bathhouse.
Yeah.
With actual facilities for the staff, including sinks, locker rooms, things like that, which you kind of even kind of sort of required now. But we still don't have running water in our building. But that's the most ideal. But that's again,
Yeah, that's on the future.
down the road.
plan.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, does it warrant keeping the bathrooms that we have open until like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night or whenever somebody's leaving, and then, perhaps supplement it with like maybe one portable toilet there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why. I mean, I don't know how much would even be done to it if we left them open all night. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's always cruisers down there at night. I mean, I just, you don't see
I mean,
a lot of vandalism in Wellfleet,
It's worth a
So-
try and see how bad it gets. I mean, what's the most they're gonna do? Smash one of the toilets or, make a mess out of the whole inside of the place?
Well,
Yeah,
if they start messing it up, you close it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Get cameras.
sometimes.
No, don't laugh. I had a
Sometimes.
bathroom at a public fishing pier, and we put cameras on, and it was a new facility, and we left them open. And I was really kind of at the first against leaving them open all night, but we did, and we put cameras on the outside. And in the few cases where we had a little bit of vandalism with the cameras on the outside, I mean, the local police knew who the people were.
Does the committee want to make a recommendation to have them open all night this summer or not?
Yeah, with the provision, if necessary, close them up again.
Yeah, and I think if we do that, who's ever on duty, like who's ever the last person to leave, one of their checklist things should be that they go in and check the bathroom and, like sign off on what kind of condition it was in. So if somebody comes in the morning, first thing, and knows that there's been a problem, they know it's been done overnight. Instead of like having something happen like at 8 o'clock at night when a person's still there, and then, then we think that it happened at, overnight. You see, is that making any sense?
Yeah, they could close it. They could close it down at that point too, if there was a problem.
Yeah,
But they should definitely do a check at the end of their shift. yeah.
at the end of the shift, they should do a check. And in the
Yeah.
morning, at the beginning of the shift, another check should be done.
Yeah, that would actually be, we do have the checklist, but keeping the bathroom open would help with the nighttime check, because as it exists, there's a nighttime check that's supposed to go on, but usually you're fighting off the crowd at the bathroom to get the lock on the door and then running to your car.
So that might be an advantage to leave it open.
Yes, Yeah, definitely. Probably. It's worth a try.
Well,
Walter, do you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recommend to the harbor master to leave the bathrooms open out all night with provision of locking them up again if it is deemed necessary.
Yeah, and I'll second that.
You guys want to have a start of the season, end of the season, or just starting his discretion? What?
Harbor master's discretion.
Okay. Martha, you second.
Yeah.
All right, the motion is on the floor. Any discussion?
I just
All
want to air one concern.
Yep.
You know, and I definitely agree with the concept of leaving the bathrooms open 24/7. But just the cop in me for 32 years, it breeds a little dissent in the decision, only because I know that that's one of the worst places I've ever had to go to respond to a crime, you know, or to respond to something bad that happens in an open public bathroom. And you leave them open 24/7, you could potentially be leaving yourself open for liability. That's the only concern I have. Otherwise, I agree with everything you guys said, and I think it's a great idea. But, you know, that's just the cop side of me that's, you know, trying to explain that.
Now, the restrooms at Newcomb and LeCount, aren't they open all night?
I believe they are. And there's also one at Town Hall. It's open.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion on that motion? All right, roll call. Walter,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Martha,
Aye.
Flip,
All right.
Kevin,
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Okay, did I get everybody? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, as we look at the needs assessments that have been submitted, maybe some of you who submitted some of them could talk about your concerns. One that seems to always come up is the need for signage at the top of the ramp, access for boat owners and their guests only. When I travel when I cruise to other marinas, that's a very common one. I know, Dave, you had some concerns in the past about that.
Right. I think it's a good practice. It just alerts the public that don't know otherwise, not that that's not an area that they should be in. A, liability wise for the town, because they could trip, fall and get hurt. B, it's private property basically, where these are private boat owners and they have private property on that boat and they've got direct access to it. So I think it's important that at the top of every ramp, it says, you know, words to that effect, Joe. You know, private property or no trespassing and access, at least access for boat owners and their guests only. It just makes good sense.
One of the things I see a lot of in the BDOC, parents and kids walking along the top, and then they let the kids tear down the ramp. and
Or
go
throw
along the
stones.
boat. Some
Throwing
of them
rocks, yeah.
are even skateboarding. And I think a good start would be that access for boat owners and their guests only. What do you think, Will?
I know we have a bunch of those signs that we
Yeah.
put up.
They're at the bottom, though.
Yeah, there was nowhere easy to put them up at the top without going on the inside of the wooden railing. We were trying to figure out how to leave the width access down to the ramp and make them the most visible that how we could make them. Because we can't dig like a post. You can't really dig one in there. So the quick solution was just to throw them on down at the bottom where where they all were. That way we could get them up and out there.
Yeah, the parents never see them there. When I see them at other marinas, they're attached by the railing of the ramp at the very top.
What about fishing off of the docks?
Before we go on to that, any other thoughts on
The-
signage for access?
Yes, that was what I was suggesting. The fishing off of the people that go down the ramps that go fishing. So they shouldn't really be fishing off of the down on the docks. With
Well,
that being,
You think we should add fishing too? I mean, if it says that
you shouldn't
only,
be there.
yeah,
Yeah.
only open to, access to boat owners and their guests only. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess a fisherman ought to get the hint. I can't go down there.
Yeah, but even if you are a fisherman, should you really be fishing down there?
Oh, some pretty good fishing down there.
Sometimes there's good fishing down there.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm just, sometimes it can be.
I think
a little
I
bit
think just
crazy.
having a good sign up there, maybe even on the guardrail or something like, bolt a post onto the guardrail up at the top.
Top of the
there.
ramp,
Yeah,
on the ramp itself, on the gangway, the top of the gangway.
Yeah,
instead of bolt, well, you could, instead of having the bolts in the middle, you could have the bolts on one side and stick the sign off so you don't block access. So, even those few inches help. If you had your bolt holes on the edges instead of the middle, you could bolt it right to that guardrail. I mean, that's one suggestion.
I think that's a good one. It makes sense. It's right up front and center too.
I mean, I see a lot of little kids just tearing down that ramp. I know, Dave, you've seen them too.
I have, and,
One trip and they're gonna take a header and get really
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah, now that we're gonna have the ramps going a little steeper, I can see more skateboarders now
well,
at low
Yeah.
tide, right?
yeah,
They can go for a swim instead of a muck bath.
They're,
It's definitely.
okay. Anybody want to talk about any of the other needs assessments?
I want to bring up one I had mentioned in what I sent to you, Joe, was,
What number is that on the
it'll
list?
be number 3,
Yeah,
the installation and training of automatic external defibrillators, AEDs, and my thought was 2 locations, one in the Harbormaster's building and the other at the fuel dock shed. Just in case, you're a first responder, you guys are out there, you're pumping gas and some guy goes down for the count and you got an AED, it can make all the difference in the world. Same way, anything can happen on the pier with water injuries and everything else. Someone goes into cardiac arrest. It's a simple process, it's simple training, and they're great to have, and they're, lifesavers. So I just thought that it was one of those things that would be a nice addition to the marina.
They don't have one in the Harbormaster's building?
We do. We
Yeah.
do, but not at the fuel dock. And David, Mackenzie, myself, and previously Jamie, were all first aid, CPR, and AED trained.
Excellent,
Everybody, yeah. Yeah, I believe in that. I was a paramedic for many years. I've used AEDs a dozen times. I've also used regular defibrillators. I can't even count anymore. But yeah, they save lives quick.
They really do.
Yeah.
So an
okay,
extra one down at the fuel dock would be, or the building, the fuel shack there would be a good idea. Wouldn't have to go running way back to the Harbormaster shack.
Is that a place you could put one though?
Take
Sure.
one.
Walter's asking, do you want to put one?
We have to put one inside of the inside of the fuel.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, the shack, yep. Okay.
Does anybody else want to speak to any of the other needs assessments on the list I sent out?
I have a question. Was the list, is this something that we were going to submit to the Board of Selectmen? as what they required or what they were asking for?
They're asking for a marina management plan
It's different.
due
Right.
in a year. And some of us suggested.
Wouldn't this be part of it, like part of the
Well,
concerns?
I'm trying to tell you, after Michael DeVasto appeared, and said what he wanted. I don't know if you were at that meeting,
I
Flip,
was.
but what they want is a management plan. And so I had suggested that maybe the first step to talking about developing a plan would be to do a needs assessment and have the plan developed through discussion formulated from that. So I sent out what everybody sent in, and people can add to it as we go along and as they see things, going on this summer. And then we can work from that to, formulate a plan. But I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, I think this summer is gonna be a learning experience with the dredging in the deep water at all times. I mean, I think things might be different than they have been. I don't know, but hopefully they smooth out a little and maybe the crowds get, a little dissipated instead of all jammed up. Don't know if that'll happen. Like Will says, maybe they're just gonna be there at 11 o'clock anyway. But
Well, I think we got a two-pronged thing. I think not only are we going to have a lot of extra usage of the pier and the water area because of the dredging, but I think there's going to be a lot of people in town this summer. Just from what I know about accommodations that are already totally booked and people that are, like calling off the wall to the chamber and the different, accommodation owners. And just of what I've heard in general about people traveling.
Probably a COVID breakout summer, huh?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think they're already here.
Yep.
Yeah, every weekend they're here.
I was thinking one thing too is, with the trailer parking, that to kind of maybe put one of those sandwich boards out by the end of the pier when that trailer parking gets full on the weekends. I don't know if it'll turn anyone around and send them down to Dave's house, but it'll, it may alleviate something. At least they won't come in and just stop in the middle of it all. If parking's full,
yeah, I mean,
That's a good idea.
it's a good idea.
I mean, maybe a staff member can be assigned to keep an eye on that area.
Yeah, we've been, that was one of the things we've been counting. We actually thought about numbering the trailer spots as well to keep a better count. There's been a lot of complaints about the trailer spots. Who's in there, how long they're in there, that sort of business, and the seasonal, all that garbage. So I think numbering them, and even, I don't even know if it's possible because of the coming and going and people pulling in kind of where they want, but at least numbering them so we have an idea of who's in what. It'd be nice, and it would be ideal to hand out a number to say, here, go park in spot number 20. But if there's a vehicle next to that in 19, and then there's down the street, there's spot number 29 has no one around it. They're just going to go to 29. So that's a dream, but at least with the numbers, we can keep track of it a little more.
Back to this needs assessment thing, I think that, we ought to develop the assessment off of this, but I think when it's turned into the Board of Selectmen, I think that we ought to also earmark, what's being accomplished right now and what's, going to be done within the year and, hopefully within, 2 or 3 years, and give them some kind of timeline as we're approaching this.
Anybody else have any comments? Okay, if we look at 4 weeks, that would be April 20th.
I don't think that's a good week. I'll tell you why. It's Patriots Week, and it's also so Easter
Patriots
week.
week.
Yeah.
How about, you mean school vacation week?
Yeah.
How about the 27th, right after that?
I think that's a better time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks good.
yeah,
And also, if we're going to meet down there, the day will be even longer.
yeah. As soon as I learn that we are allowed to do a site visit, I will send out an email to everybody. And when everybody agrees on it, I can have it posted. And we can spend some time down there. Is that acceptable to everybody?
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah, we'll go for the 27th, and if we have to change it, we will.
Well, the 27th would be a regular meeting.
Oh, okay,
That would be a
The
regular
site
meeting.
visit would be in addition to that.
oh,
with
okay,
an agenda of one item, parking. And that would be a public meeting as well, but the agenda would be just for parking.
You want to do that earlier than our meeting?
Well, it's up to the town, whenever they're going to approve allowing
Oh.
us to meet in person.
Oh, because of our, yeah.
We're still banned from doing that.
no, that sounds like a good idea, but, definitely.
Okay. All right, so we'll put down the 27th, and as soon as I get the word, I'll get an email out to everyone. Okay, do we have a motion at 8:14 to adjourn?
I motion that we adjourn our meeting.
I'll
Okay,
second it.
Flip, and then Martha. Okay, Walter,
Aye.
Martha,
Aye.
Kevin,
All right.
Flip,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Okay,
you.
See ya.
See you down at the pier.
Yep.